Good evening. It is time for today's tax talk. I'm your host. I'm attorney Stephen Leahy. Today is Monday, December 20th, year of our Lord 2021. Coming up to the end here. Last week we talked a lot about the Build Back Better plan. I'm not going to take a victory lap because it's gone, although I'm very happy that it is gone. One of the problems that people had was that maybe the IRS was not keeping enough control of the information they had. Why would we want to give them more? And that's what we're going to talk about today. Won't you join us? Okay, so as I mentioned, the Build Back Better plan had the designs to double the size of the IRS. This is the Treasury Inspector General for Tax Administration came out with a new report today. Actually, it came out on the 12th. No, the 15th, I'm sorry. And today's the 20th, as we mentioned. And so they came out with a new report about the integrity, all about the information technology. That's been a big thing since 1998. They have the Inspector General for the Treasury has to do a audit every year and track the progress for the IRS and their information technology. There's a lot of great information. One thing you find out about the IRS is they have records on everything. They know the numbers, man. They know the numbers. And when they come out with a report, though, you really have to dig deep to find out what's in it because it's all this bureaucratic ease. Very difficult sometimes to understand what they're saying, and that's why I'm here. Try to make sense of it all. And so let's try to make sense of it all. We're going to look at this report first. We'll look at let's look at the. We will look at the article that I found. This is in Accounting Today. Taxpayer data still at risk at IRS, says the TIGTA, which is, as I mentioned, the Treasury Inspector General for Tax Administration. That's what their title is. And they came out, it was their report. So let's read this a little bit. I'm going to look a little report too. The report's 92 pages. Obviously, I'm not going to go through the whole report, but there is something on that, very summary page that I want to point out because they talk about the numbers from the IRS, what they collect, and the size of the IRS and things like that. And I want to point that out. So the Internal Revenue Service continues to make progress with its information technology systems and policies, according to a new report, but risks to taxpayer data remain. The 92-page report from the Treasury Inspector General for Tax Administration, which is based on an annual audit mandated by the IRS Restructuring and Reform Act of 1998. This was, very important act that they tried to. This one they started going after the IRS, and it was only after this that all the scandals broke through. Also reiterated the importance of modernizing the agency's IT infrastructure and boosting its protections against cyber attacks and identity thieves. They have all of our information. If cyber attacks reveal all of this information to the thieves, nobody's safe. And that's one of the big problems. And we know that recently the IRS, or we don't know for sure it was the IRS. I don't know who else it could have come from, but all of the tax returns of the very wealthy in our nation were revealed. Well, how did they get them? Who else has everybody's tax returns? I can only think of one entity in the federal government that does that. So that's where I'm thinking. Two of the five areas of the IRS's cybersecurity framework were rated not effective. So that's government. It stinks. Okay. Namely, its ability to identify its cybersecurity risks and its ability to detect cybersecurity incidents. So once there's an incident, they don't even want to know it happened because then they have to tell everybody. So they prefer not to know what's happening. In both areas, the report says that the IRS has defined policies, procedures, and strategies, but that they were not consistently implemented, leaving taxpayer information at risk, to say the least. The IRS was rated effective in the other three function areas: the ability to protect against crypto cybersecurity risks, to respond to them, and to recover from them, though its efforts had not been optimized according to the report. The trillions of dollars that flow through the IRS each year make it an attractive target for criminals who want to exploit the tax system in various ways for personal gain, the report stated. The proliferation of stolen personally identifiable information poses a significant threat to tax administration by making it difficult for the IRS to distinguish legitimate taxpayers from fraudsters. I got to say that as a tax professional, trying to get information from the IRS, it's very difficult. They have a lot of policies in place that make it almost impossible for the legitimate people to get the information. But when you're going through crypto or the cyber attack and you're going around them, it doesn't really matter what they have in place because they go around it. When you're like myself and you have to follow the rules are very difficult. And they make it, again, I've been having a very difficult time getting information from my clients. It is frustrating. And you follow all the rules, they find something that they say that was not consistent. Four people at the IRS will say everything's fine. A fifth person will say no, and now it's not. Okay, so who knows what their strategies are or what their standards are, because they don't share them. Let's skip to the next. To better assess the security and privacy of taxpayer data, the report conducted 4 audits of different IRS systems. Its review of the agency's ability to validate transcript requests for its income verification express service found that the IRS cannot effectively authenticate electronic taxpayer signatures on Form 4506T, request for transcript of tax return, and that most program participants were not fulfilling certain required validation requirements. Again, they're so technical and nitpicky. Again, I would say maybe they have to be. And again, that's what they say, and they're not following all their rules. They seem to follow all the rules when I'm trying to do something. On the other hand, the reviews found that most IRS laptops and desktops were wiped clean of all data before disposal. Well, I think that's pretty standard. Most required security controls were in place for the Get My Payment application that the agency's Information Sharing and Analysis Center complied with in the appropriate tax information laws and included privacy controls to protect taxpayer data. Okay, catching up with the times. The reliance on legacy systems, that means old, and aged hardware and software, and its use of outdated programming languages pose significant risk to the IRS's ability to deliver its mission. The report warned, modernizing the IRS's computer systems has been a persistent challenge for many years and will likely remain a challenge for the foreseeable future. Of course it will. You know what they're going to tell you? They don't have enough money. That's what they're going to tell you. It highlighted technology-related obstacles to the service's ability to respond to the COVID-19 pandemic. Let me interrupt here and say that if they came to my office and audited, and they can, and they found an error, and I told them I just didn't have the money to do the things that they wanted me to do, that would not be adequate for them. But yet, that's the excuse they want to tell us when they can't keep when they can't protect our data. They say, well, they just don't have the money. And so if I said that wouldn't be adequate in my office. We do all we can to protect the data. We take extra steps to do so, which is the number of employees reporting from approximately 27,500 to 41,000 in the middle of 2 weeks in March, and rising further to as many as 60,000 by the end of September. However, the IRS has hampered in leveraging telework by its limited ability to issue laptops and other equipment to employees who weren't already in the telework system, according to the report, which also noted that the IRS manager cited help desk delays, issues with virtual private networks, and SharePoint sites not working. The IRS is currently in the midst of two 3-year phases of the 6-year IT modernization roadmap. In 2021, its budget was approximately, and this was $11.9 billion, with roughly $4.5 billion for IT investments. Of the latter, $1.8 billion was intended to fund the new responsibilities, many of them related to the coronavirus pandemic that Congress has laid out in the service. $4.5 billion a year, and they tell you they don't have enough money to take care of the of data protection. Well, this is the report, annual assessment of IRS's information technology program for fiscal year 2021. The fiscal year, I think, ended at the end of September, so October 1st was the beginning of the next fiscal year. Here's on the left here. I wanted to read this on the. Won't back up. I wanted to read this on the left. Why they did this audit? Actually, let's do that. The audit was initiated because of the IRS Restructuring and Reform Act of 1998 that requires the agency to annually assess and report on an evaluation of the adequacy and the security of IRS information technology. Our overall objective was to assess the adequacy and security of the IRS information technology. They repeated that twice. Must be very important. In fiscal year 2021, the IRS collected, and this is the part that I wanted to get to, the IRS collected approximately $4.1 trillion in federal tax payments. That's why they were trying to Build Back Better plan was the Congressional Budget Office said that was going to be a $5 trillion package. So they're going to spend more than a year of income. They're going to spend it this year, and that was that didn't include the infrastructure bill or all these other plans that they already put through. Trillions of dollars in federal payments, and processed 269 million tax returns and forms. In addition, the federal tax refund and outlay activities by the IRS were approximately 1.1 trillion. So they collect the 4 trillion and they give back 1 trillion. That's what people say, I got money from the IRS, they're giving me money. No, they're not. They're just giving you your own money back. So they collect 25% more than they should, and then they use your money for free. This included approximately $570 billion in coronavirus disease 2019 impact payments. The IRS employs approximately, and there's another part I wanted you to understand, the IRS employs approximately 81,600 people in its Washington, D.C. headquarters and 501 offices in all 50 states and U.S. territories. They wanted to double. The new Build Back Better plan called for adding 87,000 new employees, more than doubling the size of the IRS. Not in the budget, because they weren't doubling the size of the IRS technology budget, but they were doubling the size of people, the number of people, more than doubling the number of people in the agency. The IRS relies extensively on computerized systems to support its financial and mission-related operations. Weaknesses within the IRS's computer operations could begin to adversely affect its ability to meet its mission of helping taxpayers comply with their tax responsibilities and enforcing the tax laws with integrity and fairness to all. I have to say, in my opinion, it has already done that. It's already impacted their ability to do so. And that's why we shouldn't double the size. And that's why we shouldn't give them more information. And that's why we shouldn't let them give us all our banking information. They can't protect what they already have. Why would we give them more? Just makes sense to me. Anyway, that's all I have for tonight. I thought it was an interesting story. There are some other stories about Build Back Better, but again, Joe Biden came out on Thursday, said that it was over. On Sunday morning, Manchin, if you haven't heard, you probably heard, Manchin came out and said he will not support the Build Back Better plan, which means without that vote, it cannot pass. And so they were pushing it into next year and hoping that maybe by March. But without Manchin's vote, they will not be able to pass it. And that's a good thing, in my opinion. Others might disagree, but that's what I think. And that's my show. So that's what I'm going to think. So anyway, thanks so much for joining us here today. We do want to protect everybody's data, and it's important to do so. Now, remember, if you're fighting the IRS, the first step, get a copy of my book, Deal with Your IRS Problem Today. Go to freeirsbook.com, freeirsbook.com. Get yourself a copy of Deal with Your IRS Problem Today. The first step you need to do if you owe the IRS money and you're trying to figure out how to help them. And I'm going to ask you again to like and subscribe. Like and subscribe. We want to get all this out, so help us like and subscribe. So thanks so much for joining us. Tomorrow is Crypto Tuesday. Don't forget, that's my favorite day of the week. So join us tomorrow for Crypto Tuesday. We're going to have a lot of fun. We want you to join us. And we'll see you tomorrow. Thank you so much.